Hey everyone, welcome back to Press Play Pulse. Today we're talking about Nintendo's unstoppable run this year in Japan. From record-breaking sales to industry milestones, there's a lot to unpack. But here's the kicker, did you know that one Nintendo game has been quietly outselling almost everything else? Let's start with Super Mario Party Jamboree. This game's been a monster since its October release. Last week it sold a little over 133,000 copies, bringing its lifetime sales to a staggering 835,000 units. But what makes Super Mario Party Jamboree so special? Is it the mini-games, the multiplayer chaos, or could it just be nostalgia? Have you played this? And if so, what's your favorite part of the game? And while it's only been out since October, it's already making waves. It's a reminder that Nintendo knows how to create games with staying power. But let's not forget this is just one piece of Nintendo's incredible year. Next up, let's look at Mario and Luigi Brothership. Released in November 2024, this game marks the return of the beloved Mario and Luigi series after a 5-year hiatus. But how has it performed so far? Well, the numbers tell an interesting story. In its first week in Japan, Brothership sold 63,000 units. Now that's a solid start, but it's worth noting that it's lower than other Mario RPGs. For comparison, Super Mario RPG Remake launched with 301,000 units, and Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door sold 115,000 at launch. So while it's not a record breaker, it's still a respectable debut for a series that's been dormant for a while. Critically, the game received mixed reviews. While some praise its combat system, story, and art style, others criticized its performance issues, pacing, and writing. IGN, for example, gave it a 5 out of 10, citing technical problems and gameplay concerns. That said, Brothership does have its strengths. The Mario and Luigi series is known for its quirky humor, creative gameplay, and charming storytelling, and this entry does continue that tradition. It introduces new mechanics and a fresh adventure that has been well received by some fans. Plus, it's a notably long game, clocking in at around 34 hours, though some critics have called it bloated. So, what does this mean for the future of the series? Well, it's pretty hard to say. While Brothership hasn't set the world on fire, it's a reminder that the Mario and Luigi series still has a dedicated fan base. Whether this is enough to revive the franchise, or if it'll go back on hiatus, remains to be seen. If you've played Brothership, let me know, what'd you think of it? Does it live up to the older games in the series? Or did it fall short? And now for an honorable mention. Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake. Now I know this isn't a Nintendo game. It was developed by Art Dink and Square Enix, specifically Team Asano. So while it's available on pretty much every platform, it basically outsold the PS5 version 3 to 1. For example, on Switch it sold 641,000 units, and on PS5 it sold 212,000. This just goes to show how the Switch is still dominant, and personally it just makes sense. I prefer to play RPGs on something I could just turn the screen off and come back to whenever I want to. So now let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Nintendo's dominance in Japan is unmatched. The Switch routinely claims most of the top 30 spots in the sales ranking. And the crazy thing is that the Switch is years into its life cycle, and it's still performing at this level. In fact, in the last week of this year, the Switch has already sold 104,000 units. Most consoles would have peaked by now. It's especially surprising because the Switch 2 is just around the corner. But Nintendo keeps finding ways to stay relevant. Whether it's through innovative games, consistent updates, or just sheer brand loyalty, they've cracked the code for sure. And that's a wrap on today's episode. Nintendo's 2024 has been nothing short of incredible, and it's exciting to see how they continue to shape the gaming world. If you enjoyed this quick recap, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell. So what's your favorite Nintendo game of this year? Mine has to be Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.